Hello again, friends and neighbors, and welcome to our fourth edition of UNB Live. My name is Bob Price, alongside Upper Nicola Communications Officer Diana Boston.
And Bob, we are absolutely thrilled with the response to the brand new production. So many people commenting with the positive comments, with information and special guests we've had so far. We've had Chief Dan Manuel, UNB Administrator Colette Sunday, and Upper Nicola Language Manager Maynard McRae.
And Diana, wisdom and loving guidance is in the air for this particular edition of UNB Live. I've really been looking forward to this, as we're about to learn so much more about the grandmothers group. Custom Tima Chair Carol Holmes is going to join us shortly today. But first, as always, let's get up to date with a segment we call The Rundown. And Diana, topping this week's rundown, celebrating the start of summer with Indigenous Day and Summer Solstice celebration.
Yes, Bob, on Friday, June 21st, we will be having our Summer Solstice Indigenous Peoples Day celebration up at Glimpse Lake. And we will be there from 9:30 in the morning until 3 p.m. that afternoon. There will be so many games. There's going to be a lot of food, a lot of people, some gathering just to chit chat with people you haven't seen for a while. So come on out and join us on June 21st at Glimpse Lake.
A lot of food.
There's a lot of food, Bob. A lot.
I like that. Pretty special event coming up for elders.
Yes, there's an elders gathering happening in August, and any elders, or if you know of any elders that might want to join, all you have to do is give Emily a call at 250-378-5058.
I think we're going to learn a lot more about this from today's special guest, but the next Custom Tima community engagement sessions are currently happening.
Yes, we actually had one scheduled for this month, or for, sorry, July, but we had to postpone that one, unfortunately. So the next engagement session will not be until August. And like I said, Carol will elaborate on that more.
Terrific. Diana, the community safety team has an opening?
Yes, we do. Actually, we want to get a few more members and maybe even some staff. But what we want is we want to make the community a safer place. We are working on different things such as better lighting, better cell service, just to get the community a more safer place. And we have a group of about 4 or 5 people, and we would love to have more join us.
Diana, you also have an update on those historical remains discovered recently near the Quilchena Community Center construction site?
Yes, at the last two meetings that we held, we as a community decided that we will bury those remains in a traditional manner, and that will be happening on June 19th at 9 a.m. at the Colchana Community Center development site.
All
And there
right.
will be a lunch to follow.
Last but certainly not least, celebrating the achievement of students. This year's Upper Nicola Band Awards are coming up.
Yes, we want to acknowledge all of our graduating members, whether it be from preschool, elementary, or college. That will be happening on the 24th of June with dinner at 5 and awards starting at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Diana, sit up straight. It's time to prepare to learn. A visit that we've been looking forward to for several weeks now. The Wisdom of Grandmothers, Custom Tima Chair, Carol Holmes. The interview is next. They epitomize loving guidance, helping to ensure healthy homes and healthy families in Upper Nicola. Their positive impact really indescribable. We're so excited to have Custom Tima Chair Carol Holmes with us today, the UNB Grandmothers Group. And Carol, thank you so much for joining us.
Right, pleased to be here.
Carol, let's begin at the very start. When did the Custom Team Up begin and how?
The custom team has started back in 2016 when the Upper Nicola had what is called an Inalkin Week session, a consensus-based gathering regarding the number of children in care and the number of children in care raising. And at the Inalkin Week, it was the community is reminded that the care of our relations, the care of our children is the responsibility of the Stimtima, our grandmothers. And in 2017, we had our first meeting. We had 5 grandmothers at the first meeting. And from there, we started to have sessions with Struckman Child and Family Services regarding children and care and the quality of care that the children are receiving and what can we do at our community level to prevent children from going into care.
Carol, I said at the top that the grandmother's positive impact has been so far reaching. What makes you proud to lead this group? And exactly what do you do in the body of this group?
Well, I'm the chairperson of our Kusum Tima and been the chairperson, I think, for about when we first started, we didn't have a chairperson or vice chairs. And so I've been a chairperson now for about 4 years, just a rough gas. And Diana Boston and Martha Chahitsia are the vice chairs. And so what we've done so far that I think really embraces who we are and what we're doing is working with our community, working with Squamish Child and Family Services to create a healthy environment for our families. And when I'm saying our families, it includes our children. So by providing a healthy environment for our community, it's for providing what we call our 13 moon calendar, which is the foundation of our Skarchout, who we are, our ways of being. And we have events throughout the year that focus on our language, our culture, our gathering, our hunting, our knowledge of the land, and our respect of the land. That with that knowledge, sharing that knowledge to others. And so that's quite remarkable because we're not only teaching that, but we're also mentoring others to have more, gain that knowledge that was once lost and once, I shouldn't say lost, probably more put aside because of the residential schools and other laws that forbid us from practicing. The other part of that is taking our 13 moon calendar and being able to teach that within our school curriculum. That's one of the processes that's in process, teaching a 13 moon curriculum in the schools. And our first focus of a school is Nicola School being a band school. So that's really, really important there. The second part that we really work hard on is our laws in our jurisdiction, because the care, as I stated in the beginning, the caring for our relations has always been the responsibility of our Ustamtima, our grandmothers. And so taking a look at the care for our children and what can we do to ensure that our children are being brought up in a safe environment. And alongside of that, what can we do to ensure Struckman Child and Family Services, the delegated Aboriginal agency, is providing the quality of care that our children in care need so that when they do what's called age out, when they do mature and go beyond 19 years of age, that they have all not all, but they have many skills that would lead them to a successful life beyond high school. And we meet on a regular basis with Stratham Town Family Services, taking a look at each of the children. What are our recommendations for them to succeed? And one of the big recommendations we have is their education. You know, we're all aware that the quality of education a person receives sometimes leads towards their social economic lifestyle. And so if they're not doing well in school, then they may end up in poverty, they may end up on the streets, they may end up in addictions. And what we're really working towards is minimizing that so that is zero. We want all of our children to succeed. And so, what can we do in order to help that? And so, when we meet with Struckman Child Family Services and we're taking a look at an education plan, we say that if a child is getting 51%, that's a failure. No, they need to be in the upper echelons of graduation. 75% is even a bear. We're looking at 80, 90%. So that way our children in care have better chance of success. And alongside of that is having many opportunities to know who we are. That's part of our Child. So the education system and who we are as Okanagan people, those go hand in hand with success in our perspective.
So the goals are set, and you've set that bar high. What has been the response?
With Stockmantown Family Services, and it's getting better. In the beginning, they I think they had a little bit of a difficulty understanding our perspective, but we stood our grounds and we stated time and time again, this is what we expect from the services that we're getting from Stockmantown Family Services, that we want that quality care, we want that quality environment for all. And so it's getting better all the time. This year, just recently, 2 weeks ago, actually, we signed, we agreed to what we've called our chapter ethic agreement, and it's agreement with Town Family Services, a delegated agency, and it's agreement that many of the bands have with their delegated First Nations agency to demonstrate, to let them know what it is that we expect them to do, the quality, the services, the quality of services, who they will reach out to with our band, with Upper Nicola. And we just agreed on that a couple weeks ago. We still have to sign that document, but in that document, it does state that quality of services, we're working out a new agreement, and it's a chapter ethic agreement guide book. I think is what we decided to call it, and so that would articulate more what is the processes and the procedures that we are expecting, and some of those requirements will be working with our families on and off reserves. With our the way government and colonialism works is they've really restricted on reserve, and on reserve does not address all of us. We need to take a look at on reserve and off reserve, and so being able to provide services to people wherever they reside, because wherever they reside, we have children that are at risk and families that are vulnerable, and what we need to do is make sure that steps are put in place to protect everybody.
All right, Carol. So the Kustum team represents more than just grandmothers. You don't have to be a grandmother to be a part of this group, right? As I'm not a grandmother and I'm vice chair.
No, we don't have, we don't have to be, aunties, mothers, sisters, we all have something to contribute to our Kusum group. We all have different skills, different interests. And so with our Kusum the way we all work together is because of all the skills and different interests, then we have an array of contributions to our community, and that really makes difference. The other part that we're working towards is our kikwa, working towards, because we have our Stimtima, our grandmothers, and our kikwa, our grandfathers, and so we need to have that balance. And so we've been working with Tim Manuel and Buzz Manuel, Bernard Manuel, on working towards a Kikwa group within Upper Nicola, and or men, right now it's men's group, but even that, because in order for families to be healthy, we need to take a look at the whole family circle.
So, Carol, I've known Diana Boston for a long time. I happen to think that she would make a terrific grandmother.
Just cats and
Don't you?
dogs.
You'd have to agree.
Yes, yes. Diana has a lot to contribute. Yes, her energy, her good spirit, her willingness to support and help, and um, her outlook on life.
Positive. Carol, talk to us about the challenges that families are facing today.
Well, with any of, with when we take a look at all of BC and the crisis we have with drugs and addiction, we have that within our community. We've had losses because of drugs and addiction. We take a look at violence. Violence is another area that's a concern. And along with violence, the opposite of violence is safety. And so I'm glad you asked that question, because in our last discussion, in one of our discussions most recently, we've taken a look at safety and how could we provide safety for our community. Um, how could we address it? And this may mean spousal abuse. It may mean sexual abuse. It may mean lateral violence. All aspects of safety. How can we take a look at it from our community and work towards that wellness? Because in the past, um, say our safety has been jeopardized in many ways. And so what we want to do is really think, how could we, and sometimes safety is behind, sometimes being unsafe is behind closed doors, so not necessarily talked about. And so how could we talk about it in a good way so that we're helping people move forward? I was at a meeting, a Zoom call not too long ago, and it was with grandmothers throughout the province, throughout BC, our Indigenous grandmothers. And one of the discussions that was stated there was, and we all know then, what is that movement that came not too long ago? No, not me, or something like that. And so they kind of talked about our leadership, and sometimes when he's talk about violence or sexual abuse, then our leadership may become silent. Where we don't want that. We want our leadership to stand up to say we support the Kusum team and all that they're doing, and that's what the leadership is doing. That's what our current Upper Nicola Band leadership is doing. Is we need to ensure the safety of all. And so, what does it look like, and how are we going to ensure that? Because in the work that we do as a Kusum team, unfortunately, there are some people who may agree or who may disagree with what we're doing because of lack of knowledge as to what we are doing. And so being able to gain that information, and this format that we have here provides people with more information as to what we're doing. By understanding what we're doing, then more people agree and more people support. And so right now we need to make sure people know exactly what we're doing, because we're not wanting to build barriers. We're not wanting to sever relationships. What we really work towards is building those relationships towards a place where we all feel good about one another, we all trust one another, and most importantly, our children are safe. Wherever they are safe.
So, Carol, the Custom team are currently conducting a series of community engagement sessions. What are these all about and what can we expect?
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. Our community engagement sessions are working towards our laws in our jurisdiction, and what we're planning on doing, because we have a lot of our community members who may not be resident in the Nicola Valley, they're resident outside and sometimes maybe outside the province. And so finding out where our residents are located, um, both on reserve, off reserve, and what they're doing, where are they residing? Are they living? Are they Do they have a house? Are they own the house? Are they homeless? How many people live in the house? So the quality of their housing, their social, economic standards, their education. Where have they? Are they graduated? Are they into post secondary? What are the barriers there? So really taking a look at where our community members are, the successes and some of the barriers. So then with that information, we can make decisions moving forward, not only with the services that Kusum team are able to provide, but also in terms of making decisions on laws and jurisdiction. Because what we're planning on doing is moving forward with Upper Nicola laws for our relations, which is parallel to the current Ministry of Child and Family Services child and family law. And so we're wanting to move forward with that. And in addition to the laws for our relations, taking a look at adoptions.
Sadly, we're running out of time, but Carol, in your role with Custom Tima over the years since its inception, is there something you're most proud of?
I am I'm proud of everything we do. I don't think there's anything that I'm not proud of. I'm proud of the work that the Kusum Tima are doing to make a difference for our families, to create a safe environment for our families, to take back that responsibility, that the care for our families is the responsibility of our Kusum Tima and the responsibility of our community. We all have to work together to create that safe place, and all the work we do, I'm proud of everything, because um, we all deserve, our children most importantly deserve to be brought up and to be raised in a place that's not only safe, but a place that embraces success, that embraces health, that embraces education. We've lost so many people because of drugs, because of alcohol. we've had a lot of separations because of the same things, and nobody deserves to be living in that type of environment. And so um, I I raise my hands to all Tima, to our community, and all the work that we do together, because it's going to be together that we're going to make those important changes. And it's being able to take a look at what we do with each other and embrace with each other and raise the integrity of each other is what we're really working towards, and building those bridges, because what we do also as we build bridges with other communities and other nations. I was asked this morning to present at the UBCO Mothering Co. in Williams Lake, which is going to be a gathering of Simtima from the what's referred to as the First Nations Health Authority Interior Region. So meeting with other grandmothers from the Williams Lake area down through the Okanagan, all the way to the Tunaha, through to the Revelstoke Cranbrook area, meeting with other grandmothers and sharing what we're doing. And that's really important, sharing what we do, supporting one another, helping one another. And it's all got to be in a good way. We love our environment and we respect our environment, respecting one another. Right.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
So, Carol, final question. You are obviously someone who is determined to have a positive influence on others. What drives you to keep going?
Very good question. It's a multifaceted question. Um, what drives me is my own experience, growing up in an environment of violence, and growing up in an environment of a fractured family, and knowing that today my family is well, they're healthy, they're loving, they're caring, and knowing that we need more of that to be able to create that safe environment for our families. And also knowing that when I was growing up, the limited information and knowledge that I was taught by my father and my Silk mother. And so needing to share that information with my grandchildren and with all of our children, that to be proud of who we are, that's what really drives me. We need to be proud of who we are. Whoever people are, we all need to be proud, of our place of origin.
Carol, your personal passion, so admirable. We thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to learn more about Kustantima. We cannot thank you enough for being a difference maker.
Why, Cook, special to be here.
And that's going to do it for this edition of UNB Live. We really hope you've enjoyed our conversation with Kustantima Chair Carol Holmes. A wonderful discussion, Diana.
Yes, and Bob, it's all in the family. Coming up on the next edition of UNB Live, we'll be chatting with band counselor Scotty Holmes, trying to find out the status of the Douglas Lake Commonage area.
Remember to tell your friends, your family about UNB Live. And as always, we welcome your feedback, your comments. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And yes, thank you for caring.
Bye, guys.
Ashley, hi, hi, Tam, who?